Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On Top and Hot. I'm your host, John Zidar, and today it's Tuesday. It is March 11th. Now, if you watch my videos, you know what I like to do. I like to share hot penny stocks with you because that's what I primarily trade, stocks under $5. And on Tuesdays, well, I bring you over here to where I work. I actually work at Pennybois Discord. It's a Discord group that helps people learn how to trade whatever it is they want to trade. Options, stocks, tokens, crypto, whatever. We have coaches, we have premium packages with alerts, seminars, watch lists. I mean, we've got it all over here. Plus, the free members page. That's where I work, the free members page. We invite anybody from the public to join us and come to this page, and we are trading through the day. I'm trading with the public. They're bringing in their due diligence. I'm sharing my due diligence, and we're looking at hot stocks. They're not all penny stocks. There's all kinds of stocks coming in, and you get to choose what you want. Now, there is going to be a change to our group because we've been having a lot of interest in swing trading, and that's been kind of getting in on our page as well. So we're going to separate this to just Scout page, and then like penny stocks, up to $5, $10, somewhere in that region. And then we're going to have a swing trade page. So we do have some changes coming. Today, we had a lot going on. It was a volatile market. It's going to be volatile for a long time. Trump is the volatility. No doubt about it. I don't like to hold anything overnight right now. Not a stock, not an option, nothing. Because I don't know what's going to happen overnight. Anything could happen. Well, what I want to do today is I want to actually share with you my trading experience and how it worked for me today. I made a couple of trades and they both came out perfectly for me, exactly the way I planned. And I was using only one particular tool on my charts. And I want to show you this trade. Now, it's interesting. We had originally started looking at expensive stocks first thing in the morning because they were jumping hard. And normally we can tell what the rest of the market is going to do if you see what the big titans are doing. So we saw Amazon. It was running hard. I was looking at SPY. SPY looked like it had a chance of breaking down. And I had said right here, I'm waiting for SPY to fall under the 200 haul to play puts. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. I played options. Yeah, I know. We never talk about options, and we're not going to talk about options today either. That's just what I was playing. I was also playing a down market. I was making money when the SPY was falling. We never do that. So we're not going to talk about that really either. The other thing is I was playing the SPY. That ain't no penny stock by any means, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you're trading, options, stocks, it doesn't matter. They all have one thing in common. Even if the price is high or low, they're all using charts. And that's all we're looking at is the charts. I want to show you how I was reading this chart so I knew when to get in and when to get out. And I think this is going to help you. We've already had one video on this, the ADX. I love my ADX. It gives me very, very distinct, clear, strong signals. And I want to share that with you right now. So we're looking at the SPY. She is running at like $555 right now. No, I didn't buy this stock. I play the options. So we're not going to talk about options, but we're going to talk about entry. Whether you're getting into a stock or getting into an option, you want a good entry. And really, you're reading the chart the same way, whether you're getting in for a down play or an up play. You just reverse everything, right? Everything is just a mirror image from bad to good. So what you're looking at here is the first part of the morning. This is when I had my trades. I got into the options on the blue. I got out of the options on the yellow. I basically scalp options too. I get in and I try to get my gains as quick as I can and get out, especially with the SPY. Folks, let me tell you what. You should paper trade the SPY and practice reading what it's going to do. The SPY, I think, is the largest volume stock on the market. Every single day it gets more volume than any other stock, which makes it very, very volatile, can turn on a dime. But this is a huge stock, $500 to $600. It is a Titanic on the ocean, but it turns like a speedboat. So if you can learn to read the chart on the SPY, you'll be able to read charts anywhere else moving in slow motion. So what I want to show you is how I knew when to get in and how I knew when to get out. Who cares that I was playing options? So right now we're looking at a 5-minute chart. I was waiting for this to break down. I wanted it to go underneath the 200s. We had a 200 haul over on the 15-minute, a 200 MA on my 5-minute. So let's zoom in so you can see what I was looking at. There's my entry. We are on the 5-minute chart. And I'm going to go down to the 1-minute chart because that's really where I played the day. But initially, I was looking here. So I was waiting for her to come down underneath the 200 MA and stay there. She had already been underneath it. But normally there's some meandering. Before anything makes a directional change, it goes up and down a couple times. Then it decides which direction it's going to go. So I was waiting for that moment. Well, right here, she came down and started pushing down. My entry signal was all the way down here to my ADX. My ADX is set up a particular way. I went out and got the negative DMI, which is the red line. This tells me when a downtrend is dominant. I went out and got my positive DMI. That is the green line, tells you when you have an uptrend. And I went out and got my ADX, which is this yellow line. Now this is the way it sets up. Whichever line is at the top, that's your dominant trend. Our green line over here is on the top. That is the dominant trend. The yellow line tells you how strong the dominant trend is. Now this graph goes from 0 to 100% and does not move. It is a locked graph. So when you hit the top, you're at maximum. When you hit the bottom, you're at minimum. There's nowhere else to go. So I am looking at this, trying to get signals on where the trend is going to go. When we came underneath the 200 MA here, I looked down to my ADX. Right here, we had a crossover coming into the picture. My green uptrend was falling, meaning it's getting weaker. My red downtrend was coming up into the strong position at the top of the graph. I could see that was coming, and we had just gone underneath the 200 MA. Now let's take a look at the 1-minute chart. Let me zoom in here so you can see what's going on. Get a little bit closer. Yeah, I can do that. So there's my entry. Now we are on top of the 200 haul here. She came down and bounced on it. Now you got to remember, I was looking at the 5-minute chart. I may have waited. Had I been looking at my 1-minute chart, and I would have waited for her to come underneath the 200 haul, that is. She came under right here. Then she popped back up. Then she fell. My entry turned out to be a little early, but worked out just fine. She went from one extreme to the other and then went into that downtrend. When she went into that downtrend, I was watching the bars. I'm on a 1-minute chart, so I'm watching these bars slide up and down, up and down. And as she got down here, I was looking across everything else. Now let me open up my ADX because that was the tool I was monitoring here. Remember what I said. The ADX is a locked graph. It has nothing above what you see and nothing below what you see. I seen we had our downtrend max out and bounce off the top. Our uptrend maxed out on the bottom and bounced up. Whenever you see the two change directions apart or towards each other, immediately you're going to see the price start to go in opposite direction of whatever it was doing. When you see that happen. So as soon as I seen these two bounce off of their extremes and start coming towards each other, I knew the price was about ready to climb. So I jumped out immediately. Boom! That was 110% gains on my option. Options you can get in at a lot of different prices, so your gains can be different. So I did real good on this one. Now keep in mind, my exit was because I knew it was going to stop falling and start climbing. So my exit was a good entry sign if you were looking for an entry. These two starting to come together, we knew the price was going to change. The downtrend was getting weak. The uptrend was getting stronger. Boom, we went into an uptrend. Now I was looking for another opportunity because I knew the SPY was in a strong downtrend. She's going to bounce as she's going downhill. So she's had a bounce up. I'm looking for another bounce down. Well, she hit her head on the 50 here. I seen her start to fall. I come straight down here looking at what's going on. What do I see? Well, I just had a crossover. My downtrend is climbing, my uptrend is falling. They're getting further apart. That tells me the downtrend is getting stronger, so the price is going to fall. When I look at my yellow line, it was even, which means it isn't getting weaker. It stopped falling. Chances are it's going to start getting stronger, and it was. That crossover right there was my signal after she had hit her head on that 50 and started to fall again to get in. I got in at 10 o'clock, got out at 10:05, got in at 10:12, and this one I held for a while. Not because I wanted to, just because the way it played out. She rolled downhill. She kept coming back up and bumping her head, but she wasn't going through any of the MAs. Now, when you're playing options, that's a big price change. I'm watching my price jump $10, $20, $30 up and down, up and down. And when you got a $100 bill on the line, that's a big swing. But as long as she wasn't going through any of these other MAs, I wasn't worried about it. She looked like she was still in a downtrend underneath the 9. She got down to here. Let me see if we can pull this up. Now, I did have my supports and resistances drawn, right? My horizontal lines where the price likes to change direction. But I really wasn't using those. They were on the board, but I really wasn't using them because the SPY doesn't respect them very much. The SPY works with volatility and volume. It just moves, and it moves with the wind. So when I got out here at 11:43, what were my signals? Well, obviously I seen she was starting to plane out here. She wasn't drooping anymore, but something else had to have instructed me. Well, I seen we had a big jump here. The ADX had a huge jump. Now, I didn't know we were going to have a crossover. I presumed, but she had jumped so strong, so fast, and my downtrend was falling so hard, so fast. Looked to me like we were going to have a change of trend and the price was going to change quickly. And it did. The very next minute, the very next bar, she started to climb. So again, my exit signal, if you're looking for an entry signal, whenever you see a stock falling and you see everything change direction, right? Our downtrend was getting stronger and then fell, got weak. Look at that M. You see the big M on the board? M for murder. Does it work here? Seems to. Look at our W. W for winner. Murder on top of winner. We had a crossover there and boom, there she goes taking off again. I like to use the ADX as often as I can, but I am using everything else too. But in this particular case, I was primarily focused on my ADX. I mean, I had it big like this. I wanted to see when things changed. So I like to watch a stock when it's stitching. You see how the ADX here is all in the middle. This is like the 40-50% range. Undecided. It's right in the middle. It's undecided. So what I look for are these red and green lines to cross each other quickly. Quickly. When they cross over once, look for another crossover. Those are trend changes. Every one of these crossovers between the red and the green is a trend change. Look up. Every time I'm crossing one of these, you'll see that that's where the trend changes. So I'm always looking for it to come to the center and look for it to start crossing each other. But again, it's just as easy to read when it's on the extremes and you see one is at the very top and one is at the very bottom, like right there. Red went to the top. It's got nowhere to go but down. This came all the way to the bottom. It's got nowhere to go but up. Now they could stay there a while, but as soon as you see them change directions, both of them at the same time, you know the price has changed and it's moving. Not just changing, it's moving. So the ADX was very helpful to me today, playing options in a down market. Now, let me mention this, folks. If you don't play options, you're not able to play puts, so you can't play the down market. If you don't have margin accounts, you can't short the market, so you can't make money on a down market there. So chances are you never get an opportunity to make money in a down market. There are some options for you. Have you ever heard of an inverse ETF? An inverse ETF runs backwards. Say the SPY, they've got one for the SPY. Whenever it falls, I can't remember, is it the SPY? ADX? No, it's another one. They've got an inverse SPY, an inverse QQQ. There's a whole bunch of inverses. When they are falling, the inverses are rising. So you can actually buy the stock and have the main stock fall, but because you're in the inverse, you're making money. It is rising for you. So it is important to find ways to make money in down markets because there's a lot of down days. And I get a feeling this year with Trump, we're going to have a lot of volatility, a lot of bounces. And when markets are falling, if you can't make any money, you're sitting on the sidelines. And that's a horrible thing. Yeah, it's a great buying opportunity if you have any money. Wouldn't it be nice to make some money? Hopefully, I've shared a little bit of information here to make things easier for you when you trade. Are you using the ADX? Now, I told you this was a special ADX. They also have the, I think it's called the DMI. It's already got the 3 lines together, but it's a little different. So I set mine up specifically this way. If you like the way mine looks, if you like the way it's set up, go check out my TOS 2025 video. I show you how to do it. No problems there. Thanks for your time, folks. I do appreciate it. Remember, the more you know, that's right, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.